found out I've been hated. I've been fucked up and ultra sophisticated. A little foolish, a little jaded. I ain't complaining, the karma's been backdated and there's nobody fading away here.
I grew up in Kingston, and I grew up on a street called Westmoreland Road. And there was another kid at the end of the street, and we would play hockey into the night until the streetlights came on. We'd play after school, we'd play on the weekend. In the summertime, it'd be road hockey, and his name was Doug Gilmore. So I started into hockey hard and fast. It was very much like Lord of the Flies with hockey sticks. They were the first weapon slash, piece of sports equipment every kid had. And for whatever reason, it was the 70s, and there weren't any adults.
It's funny you mentioned there's no adults around, because I remember that clearly. And there would be, like you said, tons of kids, different age ranges, smoking, swearing, some of them drinking, whatever. But it was a free-for-all. But it had its weird set of rules that we abided by without any kind of adult supervision.
My folks got me into it early. My dad would coach teams, and we'd go to the Harold Harvey for 5 a.m., 6 a.m. hockey practices. My dad was great. The teams I played on were very much underdogs. It's like the bands I play in. It's like a lot of the things that I, kind of foreshadowed things that I would do later. But you learn a lot from losing, and you find an inner strength in that. And it really taught you unity and how to stick together, and really how to think. It's a lot of that stuff that you learn as a child that really echoes in your adulthood, really.
I grew up in Scarborough, and my dad took me to the Gardens to see Toronto, Chicago.
No, sir! Esposito hangs on to it.
So that was pretty cool, because I got to see Esposito, and it was just, the thing that struck me was the speed of the game compared to TV. We didn't have amazing seats, but still, just watching this and going, man, these guys are so fast.
And when those guys hit, when you're a little kid, and that, they're like superheroes because they're in equipment, they're giant, and when they hit the boards shake.
It was a really tough sport, and it was unadorned, and there was no hiding at all. Once you were out there, you were out there, which is a lot like rock and roll.
There's a camaraderie in hockey, as there is in music, that is earned.
We always used to say we were like a hockey team when we went out on stage, It's like, Hugh's the center, Trent and I are the wingers, and Dale is kind of combination goalie and defense.
Those early days where, you fought in the clubs, you'd come in, and I remember we'd have to open for bigger, older bands, and if you weren't rocking, you had to kind of fight your way in or fight your way out. You're playing for survival, really, because you'd get eaten alive. In the 70s, the Philadelphia Flyers ruled my universe. I just loved it. The Broad Street Bullies, they were the underdogs. It was a real team. I loved Bobby Clark.
Backhand shot here, Bobby Clark. Bobby Clark!
I loved the uniforms. I just loved everything about it, and that became my team, and still is today. I draw it in class along with the Rolling Stone lips, you know what I mean? It just brings me back to high school. It was just so intense, and they just didn't care. And they were good at not caring and doing it their way. And I loved that. I loved it. And it seemed to, dovetail perfectly with the Sex Pistols and the Ramones and everything I loved about music.
LaFleur in there, scores! LaFleur gets the goal, and they're all standing again.
I knew I was supposed to be a Leafs fan, but I saw so many Montreal games with Guy Lafleur that I went, man, but these guys are better. Like, they're just, they're just faster and so head and shoulders above everybody else. I became a Canadiens fan.
LaFleur coming out rather gingerly on the right side. He gives it into Lemaire, back to LaFleur. Oh!
Greatest in my opinion. Best. Nobody can touch him.
Bernie Perrant in the net. Bobby Clark, Dave Schultz, Reggie Leach, me, Wendell Clark, with the Headstones logo.